read 35 through 38. Now, it might be all over the place, but hopefully it'll all tie together. Maybe. We'll see. But anyway, I want to ask tonight before I read this, whose field are you in, and what are you doing? But I'm going to read 35 through 38 of Matthew 9, 35 through 38. Everybody stand. All right. And Jesus went about all the cities and villages, teaching in their synagogues and preaching the gospel of the kingdom, and healing every sickness and every disease among the people. But when he saw the multitude, he was moved with compassion on them, because they fainted and were scattered abroad as sheep having no shepherd. Then saith he unto his disciples, The harvest truly is plenteous, but the laborers are few. Pray ye therefore the Lord of the harvest, that he will send forth laborers into his harvest. Chris, will you open us up?
Father, thank you, God, for the time that you allowed for us to be here so far, Lord. I pray, God, now, Lord, for the next few minutes, Father, that you would just preach through Derek, Lord, and you wouldn't let him say anything that wouldn't be of you, Father. Just change your heart, challenge us here tonight, God, I pray in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Y'all can be seated. All right, like I said, I want to ask, whose field are you in? And then I'm going to say something, and then it's going to wrap back around, I hope, if everything goes right. If not, oh well. There's three types of people when it comes to the harvest of Christ. The first person is the person that's working on their own field. They're out there only trying to get what they can get for themselves. Whatever can give them self-gain or anything, building the empire down here for themselves. They aren't really worried about others or about how they can please God. They want God to please them. Whatever the Lord can do to help in their field, they'll take it, but they're not worried about going and doing a harvest or work for God at all. They want to keep all that they have planted. They don't want the Lord to take nothing from their field. Everything that they have in their field, they want to keep it. They don't want the Lord to take nothing out of their field. They don't want him to, if anything, they just want him to add to their field. Anything that they've planted, they want it to stay. And I got to looking at like harvesters and farmers, but farmers will do what's called a prescribed burn to their field for two reasons. First is to remove anything that's on the field and to start over, and to burn everything that will harm or choke out what is going to be planted on the field. Second, when the field is being burnt, it makes the soil rich. It produces nutrients that will help improve the health of the field. Some of us today need to let the Lord do a prescribed burn on our field. We have planted them with selfish motives. We got to let the Lord take back our field and let him do it as he pleases to our field. Next, there's a person who doesn't want to work in the field. They are saved and that's it. And some of them aren't saved, but they still come to church like they're supposed to, but there ain't no reason for them to come to church. If you don't have God, then they don't have that draw. But either way, they get bored in their field, where nothing's growing, nothing's being produced, nothing's getting harvested. There ain't no work to be done, so they get bored in that field, and they go walking around and looking at other people's fields. So they will just walk around and look at what you're doing and how you're planting and what you're planting, whether or not you're letting the Lord plant in your field, how you're managing your field. They'll look at the ones that are working for Christ, that are planting seeds and leading people to Christ, and then they'll start talking about them and talking about their field, only because that person has something in their field that they don't have. The Bible says that you'll have fruits for your labor. So the ones that are working in the Lord's field and doing what the Lord will have them do to their field, they'll have fruits in that field. But don't get discouraged by the people that don't have anything in their field, that are just walking around from field to field doing a comparison pretty much. And then the third ones are the ones that are about the Father's business. They're teaching Sunday school, they're going on visitation, going to Bible college. They do the community table. They encourage others. They remove blinders off of others so they can come to know the truth. these know that the world is going to perish. So whatever is harvested here in your life will stay here. So they're worried about building up treasures in heaven versus down here. But I just wanted to explain that first. But in Matthew, Jesus had just got done healing a blind and mute man. So he was going around from city to city, like the Bible said, teaching in their synagogues and preaching. And the disciples were with him. But as he was going through there, and I wrote this down. Whenever I wrote this down, you was preaching 2 weeks ago, and I put I don't know what you was preaching about, but it said, just like us today, the Lord has chose us, like Dad said this morning. So I don't know what you was talking about, but apparently it goes with this message. Anyway, he chooses us to be a light and to be a laborer for him. He calls us to work for him. There's plenty of work, just not enough workers. There's a lot of people that are wanting and needing Christ. They might not know that they need him, but they're wanting the peace that he has, the hope that he has, and the acceptance that he has. And all three of those are found in Jesus.
That's right.
He gives us peace that passes all understanding. When this world gets crazy, this life becomes hard, he gives us peace that in the end, when all's said and done, it is well that we're saved. We have the gift that God laid down on the cross, and we've accepted that gift, so we have the peace. The Lord give us hope when God laid down his Son on the cross. Hope that all we have to do is pick up by accepting his gift that was on the cross for us. Hang on a second. All right. Too many people today think that they can only come to Christ as if they are clean whenever they come to him. The multitude that was here, they come blind already. There's people today that are walking the streets blind. They're blinded from the truth. Right. Satan has covered their eyes and they can't see the truth. We are supposed to be the light to them and show them the blinders that are over their eyes and take them off. And show them that they need Jesus. People in this multitude come to Christ crippled, unable to do anything except what this condition allows them to do. Today there are people crippled that are walking by us every day that are crippled, bound by sin they can't get themselves out of. They can't get out from where they are. They have been crippled through sin, and even if they wanted to be healed, they can't because they don't know how to. And it's our job to go show them how to. We're supposed to show them Jesus. All their life, people has told them that they couldn't get out even if they wanted to, that their past stops them from knowing Jesus or being accepted into the family of God. They've done too much wrong. Right. They couldn't be forgiven for it, that it's an unforgivable sin that they committed, or they'll never be able to live a righteous life, so why even try? That's stuff that they've heard. And so all that has crippled them over the years. But anyway, the crippled and the blind, Jesus healed them. And I didn't see anywhere where they went back from being crippled to being healed to going back to crippled, or from getting healed from blindness to going back to blindness. I didn't see any of that in the Bible where it says that something that God done was temporary. So whatever ails somebody, we're supposed to show them the true solution to it. But they all come and they seen a blind man that they walked past. Whenever they was coming into the city, they want the people that was around them. I got to explain this right. People are going to want to know if you're working in God's field and you're planting like you're supposed to be doing. People's going to want to know why you're doing this or how you're doing this. How somebody who's sinned so much, or how somebody that once was blind now can see, or how somebody once was crippled now can walk around, or how somebody who couldn't talk before, couldn't hear before, now can tell you about their testimony or something. So whenever they seen this blind man, in the previous passage before this one, they wanted to know how somebody that was blind is now walking around without needing any help, or how the cripple that was sitting outside the gate begging was now walking around telling about what just happened. Today, people are watching our lives. They are wanting to see if you are real or if we are just going through the motions. There are people at work that you don't even know is watching you.
Right.
They're wanting to see how a sinful person could walk around with a smile, having hope and peace. And you, being once blind and crippled, can now give advice or be a leader or be someone that somebody brings their prayers to. The Bible says that the harvest is plenty, but the laborers are few. What are we doing when God sees us? Does he see us working for him? When he looks at our lives, does he see someone that is about his business? In our lives, God has lined up people. If you're saved, he's already set things in motion for somebody to come, for you to be a light to and a witness to. He done that a long time ago. He knew whenever you was going to get saved, and he knew who to send by you. Just like there's not anybody, I can't just witness to anybody. I can't go witness to a doctor and expect her or him to understand me or even believe me, because I'm not on that level. They'll look down on me probably. But God has put somebody in that doctor's life or that lawyer's life that is going to get to them. That's in a direct line with them. So whoever God has lined you up with, a part of your job being in the harvest and being fruitful for him is not quenching that opportunity to be a witness to them or be a light to them. So you can't let the devil talk you out of witnessing to somebody, because you could be the reason why they get saved, or you could be the reason why they don't accept Christ, is if you quench the spirit. And like I've said before, if that was one of your family members that life was hanging on by somebody being a witness to them, and you knew who that was, you'd be over at that person's house telling them, make sure you do what you're told to do and witness to my son or witness to my daughter. You'd make sure that they get the point that this is very, very important to you.
Right.
And so we should have that burden in our heart already whenever we got saved. We should have the love of God for people. And it should be just like somebody we're telling in our family. And it should be just as important to us. But other than that, that's all I got.
Amen.